Hi and welcome to the Learning to Use Ubuntu Linux video series. The first thing that we need to do is to go get ourselves a copy of Ubuntu. So I'm going to go to ubuntu.com. And here we are at the Ubuntu site, and I'm going to click on this button here, download Ubuntu. And these are the just leave these as they are. It says get Ubuntu 10.10, the latest version in 32 bits. So don't bother changing those, just click the start download button. Now I have the file download dialog, so I'm going to save the file. OK. And the system has started saving the ISO file, and it's going to take quite a while to download the file. While we're waiting for it to download, the other piece of software we're going to need is a special kind of CD burning software that can burn ISO files. This is a special CD, it's not a normal data CD, it's what's called an image CD. So if you go to Google, I'm going to Google ISO recorder, and it's the first hit on the Google page. So let's go to ISO recorder, and I'll put the web address on the on this video, but it's isorecorder.alexfeynman.com. And what you want to do is to grab the version of ISO recorder for whatever operating system you're on. If you're on XP or Vista or Windows 7, grab the version of ISO recorder. I've already got mine installed, but this is where you need to get it from. So you might as well download that and install it while you're waiting for the Ubuntu ISO file to download. And then here we have the image. Here's the image file, and because we've put the Alex Feynman ISO recorder software on our PC, we get an extra entry in the right-click menu called Copy Image to CD DVD. We can ignore this pop-up auto-run window. Ignore that. If that pops up, ignore it. And we'll just so we right-click the ISO file, copy image to CD, and then this is the window that pops up for the ISO recorder. Of the image file that we've downloaded. The recorder is a blank writable usable disk. Recording speed is 40 times on mine. If you get errors, you might need to bump that down a bit. 16 times is pretty reliable, but I'm going to leave mine at 40 times and then just click next. This is super easy. The ISO recorder software just burns the CD and then ejects it at the end. So we'll come back when when it's burned it, and we should have a CD. Now we have our Ubuntu desktop CD, and this is the laptop. It's an old Celeron mobile processor laptop that I'm going to see if it runs on. So what I'm going to do is to boot the computer from CD. I've actually got Windows 7 on here, but I don't want to damage or do anything to the Windows 7 that's already on here before I decide to blow it away. What I need to do is I need to find out if Ubuntu 10.10 gives me core functionality. Okay, so I want to check the wireless works okay, the sound works, the video. Just give this machine a general checkout by booting from the CD and making no changes at all to the Windows 7 that's already on here. Okay, let's power on then. Down here it says press F12 for boot device selection. Okay, so we can see it's going to boot from CD first, then the disk, and then the network. So that's fine. Okay, CD's in, so now we'll power up, and it should eventually boot from the CD. I'm not going to sit all the way through this, but you can tell now it's coming up. It said ISO Linux, so I can tell I can hear the CD drive whirring away. In the old days, a whole load of words would scroll past on the screen, but I think they figured out that intimidated users. So in a moment we're going to get a graphical screen. Here we go, look, Ubuntu, load of little red dots. And depending on the speed of your computer and your CD drive, that'll depend on how long it stays in this state. We'll come back anyway. It'll just whir away anyway. You don't need to touch the computer. It'll just whir away, and we'll come back in a couple of minutes. Okay, after a few minutes, this is where it will eventually land. And we'll get the install window. Basically this is asking us, do we want to just run the system from the CD, try Ubuntu, without making any changes to the computer, or do we want to do the install, which we'll do this later once we've verified the system works okay. But now we're going to just make sure what language we need, English, and we're going to press try Ubuntu. And it's going to whir away for probably another few minutes, so we'll come back when it's up and stable. Okay, so after a few minutes, this is where it should boot you to, and we're running off CD again. So the good thing is the video works, right? We haven't got any funny lines or anything like that. It looks nice and smooth. So the other two things to check before the install is that the sound works. So you'll see a little examples folder up here, so we'll click on the examples folder, and the Ubuntu Free Culture Showcase, and we've got a demonstration video file and audio file. So let's try the audio file first. Let's double click on that. So sound's up and running, sounds okay. And that's really all we need to know for sound, but let's have a look at the video file. Yep, so everything's working with that. You'll notice that the maximise, minimise and close buttons are all on one side of the window like they are on Mac. So that's sound is okay. So the final thing that I want to check, I mean obviously the touchpad is okay, because I'm navigating around using the touchpad. What else do we need to find? The other thing is if the wireless card works. So most of the chips that work on wireless cards in laptops, Broadcom and the other ones, are pretty much wired into Ubuntu. So up here, I mean, there's the power icon, the speaker icon. Don't worry about these too much yet. But this is the wireless icon, so it's got an exclamation mark against it. So I'm going to left click on that. And these are some of the wireless networks in my vicinity, but I know my network is called Matrix, which is not on this list at the moment. So I'm going to click more networks, and here's Matrix here. So let's click on that. I have a password. So enter my password. Don't worry about this keyring thing, just press cancel on the keyring. And Matrix connection established. That is way quicker than Windows and stuff like that. So let's just click on the Firefox icon and make sure we can navigate to, say, the San Francisco Chronicle or a website of your choice as a final test. Obviously, you know, starting programs and running all these programs does take much more time because it's running, you know, from the CD. It's not running from the hard disk at all at the moment. So we'll just give that a couple of ticks for Firefox to start up. Okay, so let's try and go to San Francisco Chronicle, and I can see that it's working okay. So you can't get much easier than that. All the drivers are built in. Basically, if you have any problems at this stage with sound, video or wireless, you know, if you're an advanced user you could get it to work, but if if you're a novice, I wouldn't suggest that you go any further. So if the screen's not working good and the sound is not working good and you can't get the wireless to work as simply as you've seen me do, I would say that it's a no-no on that particular laptop that you've got, or a computer that you've got. So you could fiddle around a while. Now these are the three menus. You've got application menu. There are all kinds of applications you could fiddle around with. You're not going to do any damage to your system. It's just running entirely from CD. It'll be making no changes to the system whatsoever. I'm going to go through some of these applications in later videos. Places is like a sort of file navigation. These are all the different places that you can go look for documents and stuff. System is more about, you know, colors, blah blah blah. You know, log on it. Don't worry too much about those. I'll go through some of those maybe in a bit of a later thing. But basically, we're powered up from CD. Everything looks cool, and we're ready to do the installation, which I'll do in the next video. Okay, Ubuntu for the win! So all that's left to do now is to power off the computer. So we'll just come up here to the power icon and click shut down. Are you sure you want to shut down the computer? Yes. Oh, now we do get some gobbledygook, and it ejects the CD. Please remove and press enter. And the computer shut down. And when you power up again, it'll just come up as though you never even played around with Ubuntu.